Okay, guys, and joining us right now from Arizona, he is home after a successful season this year with the Frisco Roughriders. It's Frisco Roughrider manager Carlos Cardoza. Carlos, what's going on, man?
Doing well, doing well. How you guys doing? We're gonna pardon you guys. You never made it out to Frisco for a show, but other than that, how are you guys doing?
We're doing well. We never got it lined up. It's probably my fault, but no, it's definitely my fault.
Yeah.
I'm going to blame myself. But we did get out there a couple times.
I was there for the last game.
I was happy about that. Got to get out there and see all that talent you guys ended up having. I mean, it was kind of weird. The roster at the start of the year wasn't star-studded, I guess, in terms of at least prospect rankings. But then at the end, holy cow, you had all kinds of players running through there. Pretty good group.
Yeah, we did, and I think the group that was there throughout the year got better, and you add that in, like you say, with the guys that came Hickory. I think it's a reflection that our system's probably a little deeper than what some people might think.
Yeah, I guess the guys who were there all year, Dane Acker, Cody Freeman, Josh Hatcher. I know I'm leaving some guys out, but you've known them for a long time. So, like, how did Cody Freeman develop this year? I know catching, he didn't catch. I think that was a huge deal, but my gosh, he had 50 extra base hits. You know, everybody raves about the defense, but he had a good all around year.
Yeah, he really did. I think one of the best seasons, campaigns in the Texas League. And, to your question, how did he develop? I think he's always been as good of a defender and infielder as we saw. But him playing, kind of holding down third base every day, you saw what he can do there defensively. And he also played some second in the second half. So I think he, while he was locked down at third base, I think he has some defensive versatility that we try to develop, and that's going to bode very well for him in the future. And then what's really neat, Jeff, about what you mentioned, I think, is a bunch of these guys having, call them career years at a higher level. Whether it's Cody Freeman, whether it's Max Acosta, guys like that, Hatch every day, hitting 300, stealing 20 plus, 10 plus home runs. It was a good year. A lot of those guys had a good year, and I think something that helped is, we talk about development versus winning in the minor leagues. I think just carrying that winning mentality and the winning mentality in your preparation, I think that's something that bled over into the games. I was just very proud for a bunch of those guys, the year they had, how they played together, but also what they did for themselves individually in their careers.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, and John and I were just talking about this before you joined us, minor leagues is about development. And kind of you're at the whim of the big league team because, like, Josh Spores had to pitch in your last game, and maybe, Mitch Bratt would have gone a little further. I don't know. But part of development, though, is learning how to win. And you guys figured out a way to win a lot of close games. How's that going to help these guys and the organization going forward?
Yeah. When you mentioned that, two things I think about first. One, you got to have good players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Secondly, but I think that winning and development aren't mutually exclusive in the minor leagues, and we know that the goal is to win and sustain winning at the big league level. But when I say it's not mutually exclusive, is that I think winning in the minor leagues, it's not about lineup construction or platooning or pinch hitting, pinch running. I think it's more about just the attitude, the grit, and the effort that it takes, to play the game of baseball day in and day out, and to play, 160 plus, which is the aim for all these guys when they make it to the big leagues. And I think to use something that Corey Ragsdale said to me back in 2016 or 17.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
We're going back.
Yeah. One of the aims is to develop players that have the desire to win, and to develop the desire to win in our players, in our teams. And that's something that's going to inform our day to day, and it's going to inform how we prepare. And that preparation, along with the gameplay, is ultimately what's going to lead to these guys developing.
Yeah.
I think it's
Playing
very that you develop good players and they win, but I think there's a lot more that goes into that, and that's where the art of coaching and team chemistry plays a big role in that.
Yeah, playing close games helps. I really think the extra inning rule with starting the runner at second base helps because, if you want to do what the game asks you to do, you got to get that guy over. Depending on who you are and where you are in the lineup, get that guy to third, hit fly ball. Just do little things like that can help get you the run that you need. And that's kind of the element that sometimes you see missing in the major leagues. These guys are, don't want to give up outs or whatever it is. It depends on if you're home or on the road also, but still, you still see it to this day. The players know if you get a guy over from second to third with no outs by hitting a ground ball to second base, everybody gives the guy high fives when he comes to the dugout.
Yep.
I mean, that's winning baseball.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is. And it's funny. We had a project we had to do a couple years ago, and we had to go inside here. Had a manager call with Bonnie and and we get in and had to talk about things in the off season. And one of the themes was situational hitting, and you break down the run expectancy metrics, situation in per inning, and the biggest swing in run expectancy is having a runner on second with no outs versus a runner on second with one out, and a runner on third with one out versus a runner on third with two outs.
Sure.
Yeah.
So that situation you mentioned about moving a runner, it is important, and playing close games are important. I think playing close games highlights. CY talks about playing with joy and enthusiasm and passion, and what does that mean for me? It means having players that are bought in and understanding of how every pitch can lead to a win, or every pitch can influence a play or situation that leads to a win. And a run the first is worth the same as a run the eighth, or run and playing with that mentality, playing with that mindset, and that understanding of how one run can affect the game, which can affect the series. That's something we try to teach in the minor leagues, and that's something we try, to develop in our players, which hopefully leads to being in close games.
What I thought Abby Ortiz became a developmental success story this year because he started off and struggled, but then at the end of the year, he might have been the best hitter in the major or in the minor leagues. Just how hot he got. How did you see him develop? And is there something that flipped the switch there in the second half?
Yeah, he was since July 10th. He had the highest OPS in the Texas League. So he finished very, very strongly. There were a lot of things, and first and foremost was the hard work he put in every facet of his game. Because something I like to say is that even when he was cold, let's call it cold in the first half, he helped us win games defensively. Mm-hmm. Helped us win games running the bases. And when you look at Abby and his profile, that's not necessarily something that's going to jump off the page. Everybody's going to look at the bat and power and all this, but I mean, he went to work in every facet of his game, and something I think that's worth highlighting that speaks to his work ethic as well is the shape he got in and the shape how he improved physically throughout the season. And again, that's a credit to him. That's a credit to all the branches in our organization. Brett Platts, Courtney Gallagher, strength nutritionist, getting after it with him. But when I say he got into shape, we're talking close to, we're talking a lot of work and sweat that went in. And something that we did see was as he got in better shape, the production also went up. Huh. And that's, again, a big time credit to him. I think that's something that he saw, and that's something he's going to take into the offseason. And I'm so excited for him for next season because I think wherever he's at, I think he's crushing.
Yeah, he also, and I admire this, and I'm sure you can appreciate it. His English got better from April to September too, and guys in his situation, you probably encountered this at some point too. It's hard, man, and I admire that so much about players from Latin America, and he just seems like such a good kid, and what you're saying about him kind of amplifies that. Seems like he just has fun too.
He's loved on that team. He hit a home run the last game, and actually got a couple good hits that night. But boy, when he came in, they were meeting him outside that dugout. I mean, he has a big grin on his face. He seems to be loved by that team.
Yeah, and great kid, great family, great parents, great work ethic. And I think one of the questions I remember helping in an interview before the season, and one of the things he talked about was playing with joy and smiling at the game in your worst moments. And for a 22-year-old kid who was our 2023 Player of the Year to come in to AA after his first big league camp, is still learning the language or becoming bilingual. It's easy to kind of just cave in and say the year's a wash, but like he didn't. He did when the bat was cold and he was adjusting to the league. He got better in other facets of the game that he's going to need, to be able to execute and to play at the big level. And then once July hit, the talent is just too good for it to not turn around.
Great. Obviously, everybody saw Emiliano Teodo and what he did, and futures game, and the promise that Winston Santos offers. But it seemed like this was a huge year for Dane Acker to get through it completely healthy, to post every time, and maybe finally get to consistently work on some things. What did you see from him this season? And it seems like a good opportunity for him going forward.
Yeah. What you mentioned, number one, health, and two, something that comes to mind is versatility. He's starting and then towards the end of the season coming out of the pen, whether it was one inning, closing a game, multi innings. We saw a 4-pitch mix. Obviously the fastball and the curveball have been something that's carried him. And then you saw the development of his slider, his ability to use changeups both on righties and lefties. This is a complete pitcher in whatever role he whatever role he serves, whatever role we put him in. He did that. He controlled the running game. He fielded his position, and he's as competitive as they come. And those are all very, very good ingredients. Whether you're going to start or however you're going to be using. I know he's a Rule 5 guy, and he put himself in a good position. Another one of these guys that put themselves in their good positions, individually.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this beforehand too. I mean, Osuna is Rule 5. Freeman is Rule 5. I think Teodo. I think Magdaleno is he. I
Santos?
think he's Rule 5. Santos is Rule 5. Your whole roster was Rule 5. Abby's Rule 5. So yeah. I mean, he's going to get added to the roster. It just
you can't afford to lose a lot of those guys. Yeah, you're taking a chance if you don't protect them.
I think Acker's got to be protected. I'm not going to put you on the hot seat there, but you guys have a lot of guys to mull over here.
Yeah, and as a member of our system, I also say some of the guys that are at the end of their first player contracts who are up for free agency again, whether that's Cooper Johnson, Caper Rodriguez, the guys that still have ceilings, if you will, or guys that are key contributors on every club they've been at. And I think that's part of our job as coaches in the minor leagues is to try to help these guys make it very tough, on Josh Ballanfay and Ross Fenstermaker and Chris Young, when it comes time to make roster decisions. And again, I'll say I think we're a lot deeper in our system than people may give us credit for.
I got to ask you this real quick because anybody that managed him, they're going to want to know. He's basically the top prospect in the organization right now. Only 18 years old. What did you see out of Sebastian? I mean, we know him. We've had him on. He's such a great kid. Family's amazing. They were there to watch the game. You personally, you deal with him. You're the one that manages him. You did it for the last few weeks here. Tell us about Sebastian and what you noticed about him.
Yeah, a couple of things come straight to mind. One, an understanding of his defensive routine, which is something important as he continues to develop, on that side of the ball. He knew what he wanted to do, and we went out and executed it, right away. I think that's a reflection in large part too of the year he had and the work he did with Chad Comer and the Crawdad staff who had him most of the year. Secondly, what an impressive talent, but what an impressive young man. You mentioned his parents. When you get to know him, get to sit down, go under the surface a little bit, you really see the way he was raised. He was really raised, and he was put in a position to succeed, with how he was raised, and whether that's baseball or any other, career, and that's something that sticks out, and I know it's been talked about, and it's certainly held true when he got to Frisco. And then third, just a lot of loud noises at the plate. Everything that's been advertised about that, and to see not just how he impacted the ball, but to see the quality of at bat, laying off some sliders there against a tough Midland staff, just getting on base, stealing second, with 2 outs in the ninth inning, the season on the line in game 2. This guy's built of the right stuff, and he's built for this. And it was short, but it was certainly a pleasure to get around him there in the last part of the season.
So I'm guessing you pay attention to Hickory because you might be getting these guys, but I mean, in spring training, you work with guys at all levels. How closely do you pay attention, if time permits? I don't even know if time permits, but to like Hickory and down east, and then maybe some of the guys you've had that have moved to Round Rock. Yeah,
we try to. It depends. I know different coaches may keep more tabs than others. I'll speak. I'll tell a little story here. John Goble, our pitching coach. He could tell you, what the sides look like in our DR academy on any given day. I mean, that's
oh jeez,
such a beast. When it comes to just consuming information and knowing, the system and our pitching development, that sort of thing. Whenever there's movement, when players transition levels, there's always communication between the managers on the guys' players' performance, but also developmentally what they're working on. Things that might make them tick, things you wouldn't necessarily read, in a box score, out and report, perhaps. Mm-hmm. Any of the recency stuff and that sort of thing. So, in addition from filling out reports, and then it's all on the same platform where you can read, what the other skippers talked about on any given night. Whenever there's player movement, we do a really good job, the managers in our system, of communicating so that each skipper knows what they're getting as far as not just the player but the person as well, because we don't want to miss a beat, and we don't want to miss a day with these guys, and we try to maximize every touch we get with our players.
Gotcha. So you're not going back to defend your AFL championship. Did you have the opportunity to manage again in the fall league?
We're sending a pitching coach this season, and I believe a trainer, and John Goble is going to represent.
Right, I saw that.
I told him, hey man, you got big shoes to fill, man. You're in the AFL, man. Like you got to be home. So, no, I'm here with my girls now. Hopefully, I'll get a chance to go see him.
Yeah, I mean, shoot. We were talking about it. It's like six guys that were in Frisco are going to be in the AFL team. So you at least have a reason to go out there and check them out. That's exciting. I always like this time of year. And but like we were talking about, it never stops. I mean, the games end, but everything keeps going.
Yeah.
Have you guys made it out to fall league games?
I have in the past. The Rangers used to have their pro scouting meetings there, and I don't know if they're going to do it again this year, but yeah, we would always kind of time it to watch a game, like when Jerks and Profar. You know, we want to go back a little bit. After he had his surgery, he played in the fall league, and the Rangers were watching him daily, and I watched him play a couple games. But yeah, it's fun. I mean, I really. And it can springboard these guys. A good spring or fall can really get them going for the next season.
Yeah. And something you know, there's a showcase nature to the league, of course, with schedules roll out in the game. You know, it's a 6-week league, and you know, as much for coaches and for players, on top of playing against, you know, some of the best. You also get an opportunity to make what you want of it, and as far as the work and continuing to develop, the competition itself is going to make you better.
Yeah,
you're either going to the guys that go to this league, they're going to rise to that level, and perform. But also, I'm excited for John and his opportunity to continue to work with. Not just our pitchers, but also pitchers from other organizations. And that's one thing I heard last year when I was reaching out to different clubs, talking about, you know, how much do you want your guys, you know, working? How much do you want? What do you want them working on? Except talking to the players, and you know, it was interesting. Some of the farm directors saying, no, we want them there. We want them exposed to different coaches. You know, push them as hard as you want. And these guys that are going and representing each organization, they're good players, and you know, they're going to want to work, as long as you approach it the right way. And like I said, I'm excited for John. I'm excited for our guys going. I'm excited for Josh Stephen, you know, to get back out there and continue, you know, working with John and showing what he can do. So yeah, it doesn't stop.
Yeah. Well, to your point, Teodo got the most out of his experience last year, and it you know, scouts saw it and opened their eyes, but then it catapulted him into having this tremendous breakthrough season.
Yeah,
so
springboarded.
Yeah.
I didn't get some from last season, but in 22, the following year, 11 players debuted from that roster.
Oh wow.
Oh, cool.
And I think you know, the number climbs every year. So it's it's definitely you know, a step for these guys, and everyone that's going is representing us is more than well deserving.
All right. Well, don't spend too much time at the ballpark. You got to take care of yourself, but take care of your girls, for crying out loud.
Yeah. Hey, one question before we get him out of here. I got to get him out of here. Look, we've dealt with you, Carlos, out there in Frisco. You've been up and down this organization. One of the nicest guys I've ever met in my life. So I have to ask, you've managed a while. Have you ever gotten tossed from a game?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I too much at times, actually. It's
tell us a good story. Come on. You don't have to use the umpire's name, but what did it?
I don't know if I should be talking about this stuff. I'll say this. I happened to get tossed on consecutive July 4th games.
Really?
You know, I didn't. They were talking about if this was going to turn into a tradition and that sort of thing.
I'll say this, from my knowledge of knowing you, if you got tossed, you were right.
Hey, I mean, you know, we're all trying to get better. Players,
right? It's tough to umpire. We have sympathy for umpires.
They have a tough job. We're all trying to get better, and we all need to get better. I'll leave it.
Hey, but sometimes your players need you gotta have their back.
Yeah, you got to go to bat for them.
Yeah, 1,000%, 1,000%, and you know, that group, the group we had and how they play, they probably deserve for me to get tossed a couple more times. You know,
Awesome.
What a great ending. That's fun. I'm good. Every time I've ever dealt with him, I'm like, he's way too nice. He's never lost it, has he, and gotten on somebody. But yeah, you know what? The competitive juices are there. Protecting your players is there. Carlos, we can't thank you enough. Look, I know your season's over. It's time to spend time with the family. But you stopped down and talked to us here for 20, 30 minutes. We just can't thank you enough. Anything else?
No, just we'll see you soon, I hope.
perfect. No, thank you guys. Thank you guys for the support as well throughout the season.
You got it. That's Carlos Cardoza. Hey, we're going to go to the big leagues now and talk about that right after this, guys.